Have you ever opened your fridge, grabbed a familiar food, and assumed it was perfectly safe to eat? You trust your refrigerator to keep your food fresh and your body healthy. But what if some of the foods chilling inside are quietly increasing your risk of serious health issues, like cancer? If you're between 55 and 80, this is especially critical because your body processes toxins differently as you age, making seemingly harmless habits potentially dangerous. In this video, we reveal 5 common foods you should never store in your fridge for too long, as they can become harmful over time. Some may even surprise you. Stay with us until the end to discover the most unexpected food on this list and learn simple changes that could protect your health for years to come. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Smoked meats. Smoked and processed meats. Think crispy bacon sizzling in the pan, succulent holiday hams, or savory sausages nestled next to eggs on a breakfast plate, are cherished staples in many households. These foods often carry an emotional weight, evoking memories of family gatherings, festive dinners, or cozy mornings with loved ones. However, as comforting and delicious as they are, these meats can pose a significant health risk when stored improperly, particularly for older adults. The cold, slightly humid environment of a refrigerator, while designed to preserve food, can inadvertently create conditions that allow harmful compounds to develop in these meats over time. The danger lies in the way smoked and processed meats are prepared. The smoking process, combined with preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, is what gives these foods their distinctive flavor and extended shelf life. However, over time, especially when stored for extended periods in the fridge, these preservatives can undergo chemical changes, leading to the formation of nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are carcinogenic compounds, meaning they have been strongly linked to an increased risk of cancers, particularly in the digestive system, such as the stomach, colon, and esophagus. The scariest part? These compounds are invisible and odorless. Your bacon or ham might look perfectly fine, smell appetizing, and taste just as good as the day you bought it, but that doesn't mean it's safe to eat after weeks in the fridge. For older adults, the risks are amplified. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at repairing cellular damage caused by toxins like nitrosamines. This means that exposure to these harmful compounds can have a more pronounced and lasting impact. Additionally, seniors often have weaker immune systems, making it harder to recover from the effects of consuming contaminated or compromised foods. Many older adults also rely on the convenience of leftovers, especially if they live alone or cook for one. It's common to buy a large package of bacon, ham, or sausage, slice off a portion for a meal, and store the rest in the fridge for days or even weeks. Each time the package is opened, it's exposed to air and moisture, creating a perfect environment for nitrosamines to form and bacteria to potentially grow. Let me share a story about my friend Harold, a 72-year-old retiree who lives alone and loves his smoked sausages. Harold used to buy a family-sized pack of sausage and keep it in the fridge for weeks, slicing off a few pieces at a time for his meals. It was a practical solution for him since he didn't cook large portions and wanted to minimize trips to the grocery store. But during a routine checkup, his doctor asked about his diet and food storage habits. When Harold mentioned his sausage routine, the doctor explained the dangers of nitrosamines and how long-stored processed meats could pose a serious risk to his health. Harold was surprised. He had no idea that his favorite comfort food could be so hazardous. Following his doctor's advice, Harold made a simple but effective change. He now buys smaller portions of smoked meats and freezes anything he won't use within a few days. He still enjoys his sausages, but he feels more confident knowing he's taking steps to protect his long-term health. The good news is that you don't have to give up smoked and processed meats entirely. The key is to handle them with care and make small adjustments to your storage habits. Here are some practical tips to minimize the risks while still savoring the flavors you love. 1. Buy in smaller quantities. Opt for smaller packages of bacon, ham, or sausages to reduce the amount of time they spend in the fridge. If you prefer buying in bulk for cost savings, divide the meat into smaller portions immediately after purchase. 2. Refrigerate for short periods. Store smoked meats in the fridge for no more than 3 to 5 days. Check the use-by date on the package, but don't rely on it alone. Once opened, the clock starts ticking. 3. Freeze for long-term storage. If you won't use the meat within a few days, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap or aluminum foil, place it in a freezer-safe bag, and freeze it. Frozen meats can last for months without losing quality or safety. 4. Thaw safely. When you're ready to use frozen meats, thaw them in the refrigerator overnight rather than on the counter to prevent bacterial growth. Use thawed meats promptly, within a day or two. 5. Cook thoroughly. While cooking can kill some bacteria, it won't eliminate nitrosamines or other chemical compounds that form over time. Proper storage is the first line of defense. By adopting these habits, you can continue to enjoy the smoky, savory goodness of processed meats while significantly reducing the health risks. For seniors, these small changes can make a big difference in maintaining health and well-being, allowing you to savor the flavors that bring back fond memories without compromising your safety. Number 2. Certain leftover cooked rice. Rice is a pantry staple that feels like one of the safest foods out there. It's versatile, affordable, and pairs beautifully with almost any dish, from stir-fries to soups to casseroles. For many, it's a go-to comfort food that's been part of family meals for decades. But here's a surprising fact. Leftover cooked rice, when not stored or handled properly, can become a hidden health hazard, especially for older adults. What seems like an innocent grain can harbor dangerous bacteria and toxins if not treated with care. The main concern with leftover rice is a type of bacteria called Bacillus cereus, which is often found in uncooked rice. While cooking rice kills the bacteria, it does not kill the spores that Bacillus cereus produces. These spores are heat-resistant and can survive the cooking process. If cooked rice is left to cool slowly at room temperature or stored improperly in the refrigerator, these spores can germinate and multiply, producing toxins that cause food poisoning. Symptoms of Bacillus cereus poisoning include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, which are especially serious for older adults with weakened immune systems. Additionally, in the damp environment of a refrigerator, improperly stored rice can develop mold that produces aflatoxins, highly toxic compounds linked to serious health issues, including liver cancer. These toxins are especially dangerous because they are invisible and tasteless, meaning you could consume contaminated rice without realizing it. For seniors, whose immune systems and digestive systems may be less resilient, the consequences of consuming tainted rice can be far more serious, potentially leading to prolonged illness or even hospitalization. The risk is compounded by common habits, especially among older adults who often cook larger portions of rice to last several meals. It's easy to understand why. Cooking a big pot of rice on Sunday to use throughout the week saves time and effort. However, rice stored in the fridge for more than a day or two can become a breeding ground for harmful bacteria and toxins, particularly if it wasn't cooled properly after cooking. Reheating rice may kill some bacteria, but it doesn't eliminate the toxins produced by Bacillus cereus or mold, which can withstand high temperatures. Consider the story of Patricia, a 8-year-old woman who shared her experience with me. Patricia had a habit of preparing a large pot of rice every Sunday to use in meals throughout the week, a tradition she learned from her mother. She stored the rice in a container in the fridge, assuming it was safe for several days. But after a severe bout of food poisoning landed her in the hospital, her doctor inquired about her food storage habits. When she mentioned her rice routine, the doctor explained the risks of Bacillus cereus and aflatoxins, emphasizing that rice should be cooled quickly and consumed within a day or two. Patricia was shocked. She had always thought rice was a safe, non-perishable food compared to meat or dairy. Following her doctor's advice, she changed her approach. She now cools rice quickly after cooking, stores it in small portions, and freezes anything she won't use within 48 hours. This simple shift has allowed her to continue enjoying rice without worry. To keep rice safe and protect your health, follow these detailed precautions. 1. Cool rice quickly. After cooking, spread the rice out in a thin layer on a baking sheet or wide container to cool it rapidly, ideally within an hour. This prevents the danger zone, 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where bacteria can grow. 2. Refrigerate promptly. Once cooled, transfer the rice to an airtight container and refrigerate it within 2 hours of cooking. Consume refrigerated rice within 1 to 2 days. 3. Freeze for longer storage. If you won't eat the rice within 48 hours, divide it into single serving portions, place them in freezer-safe bags or containers, and freeze immediately. Frozen rice can last up to 6 months without losing quality. 4. Reheat safely. When reheating rice, Ensure it reaches an internal temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit to kill any bacteria that may have developed. Add a splash of water or broth to prevent drying out. 5. Avoid repeated reheating. Reheating rice multiple times can increase the risk of bacterial growth. Only reheat the portion you plan to eat. By following these steps, you can enjoy rice as a safe and delicious part of your meals without risking your health. For older adults, these precautions are especially important, as they help protect against foodborne illnesses that can have serious consequences. Taking a little extra care with how you store and handle rice ensures you can continue to enjoy this versatile grain while safeguarding your long-term health. Number 3. Mold-prone soft cheeses. Soft cheeses, such as creamy brie, luscious camembert, gorgonzola, or other blue vein varieties, are beloved for their rich, velvety textures and complex flavors that elevate any cheese plate or culinary experience. However, these delectable treats are among the most hazardous foods to store in your refrigerator for extended periods, particularly for older adults whose immune systems may be less robust. The high moisture content in these cheeses creates a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and mold, fostering an environment where harmful microorganisms can flourish, even under the controlled cold of refrigeration. One of the most concerning pathogens associated with soft cheeses is Listeria monocytogenes, a bacterium that thrives in moist, nutrient-rich environments and, unlike many other bacteria, can survive and multiply at refrigerator temperatures, typically 35 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. For seniors, whose immune defenses may be weakened due to age-related declines or chronic health conditions, a Listeria infection, known as listeriosis, can lead to severe outcomes, including fever, muscle aches, meningitis, or even life-threatening complications requiring hospitalization. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, older adults are among the highest risk groups for severe listeriosis, with a mortality rate as high as 20 to 30% in vulnerable populations. Beyond bacterial risks, soft cheeses are highly susceptible to mold growth, which can pose additional dangers. Unlike hard cheeses, where surface mold can often be safely trimmed away, the soft, porous texture of cheeses like brie or Roquefort allows mold to penetrate deeply, often invisibly. By the time you spot a fuzzy green or white patch on the surface, the mold may have already spread throughout the cheese, producing mycotoxins, toxic compounds created by certain molds. These mycotoxins, such as aflatoxins, have been linked to serious long-term health risks, including liver damage and an increased risk of certain cancers, as noted in studies by the World Health Organization, WHO. Because these toxins are often tasteless and odorless, relying on sensory cues to determine safety is unreliable. Consider the story of Harold, a 74-year-old retiree with a passion for European-style cheese plates. Harold took pride in curating a selection of soft cheeses to enjoy each evening with a glass of wine and artisan crackers. However, after suffering a severe bout of foodborne illness that left him bedridden for days, his doctor identified the culprit, a wedge of brie that Harold had been savoring slowly over 3 weeks. He had assumed that refrigeration would keep the cheese safe indefinitely, a common misconception. In reality, soft cheeses should be consumed within 7 to 10 days of opening to minimize risks. Harold's experience underscores the importance of purchasing only small quantities of soft cheese, enough to enjoy within a short time frame, and monitoring storage conditions closely. To safely enjoy soft cheeses, follow these practical guidelines. Buy small portions. Purchase only what you plan to consume within a week to avoid prolonged storage. Proper storage. Wrap soft cheeses tightly in wax paper or parchment paper to allow slight breathability while preventing excess moisture buildup. Then place them in a sealed container or resealable plastic bag to limit exposure to air and odors. Store them in the coldest part of your refrigerator, typically the back of a lower shelf, not the door, to maintain a consistent temperature. Avoid cross-contamination. Soft cheeses easily absorb odors from strong-smelling foods like onions or garlic, which can accelerate spoilage and mask signs of deterioration. Store cheeses separately from such items. Inspect carefully. If you notice any mold growth beyond what is naturally part of the cheese, e.g., the blue veins in gorgonzola or the white rind on brie, discard the entire piece. Unlike hard cheeses, cutting away moldy sections is not safe for soft varieties due to the potential for invisible contamination. Consider alternatives. If you're concerned about the risks, opt for harder cheeses like cheddar, Parmesan, or Gouda, which have lower moisture content and are far more resistant to mold and bacterial growth. By treating soft cheeses with care and consuming them promptly, You can savor their flavors while minimizing health risks. No matter how tempting it is to save that last piece of brie for another day, prioritizing safety over sentimentality is key, especially for seniors. Number 4. Nitrate-preserved cold cuts. Deli meats, those convenient, thinly sliced staples like salami, bologna, ham, or smoked turkey, are a go-to choice for quick sandwiches or charcuterie boards. Their savory flavors and ease of use make them a refrigerator mainstay in many households. However, nitrate-preserved cold cuts can become a hidden health hazard when stored for too long, even in the cold confines of a refrigerator. Many people mistakenly believe that as long as deli meats remain chilled, they're safe to eat, but the reality is far more complex, particularly for older adults. Nitrates and nitrites, commonly used as preservatives in deli meats to maintain their appealing pink color, extend shelf life, and inhibit bacterial growth, can undergo chemical changes over time. Under certain conditions, such as exposure to air, temperature fluctuations from frequent refrigerator door openings, or the natural breakdown of the meat's proteins, these preservatives can transform into nitrosamines. These compounds are classified as probable human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, with studies linking long-term consumption to an increased risk of cancers in the digestive tract, including stomach and colorectal cancer. For seniors, whose bodies may have a reduced capacity to repair cellular damage due to age-related declines in metabolic efficiency, the cumulative effects of nitrosamine exposure can be particularly concerning. Additionally, nitrate-preserved deli meats are often high in sodium, which can exacerbate health issues like hypertension, heart disease, and kidney strain, conditions that are more prevalent among older adults. The combination of chemical risks from nitrosamines and the physiological stress of high sodium intake makes prolonged storage of these meats a double-edged sword. Even when stored at the recommended refrigerator temperature, below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius, open packages of deli meats can become less safe within days due to oxidative processes and potential bacterial growth, including listeria, which can contaminate processed meats. I recall speaking with Marjorie, a 78-year-old widow who cherished her daily ritual of preparing a small turkey or ham sandwich for lunch. She admitted to keeping an open package of deli meat in her refrigerator for up to 4 weeks, waiting until it developed an off smell before discarding it. She was stunned to learn that most experts, including the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, recommend consuming open deli meats within 3 to 5 days, regardless of sensory cues. The absence of an unpleasant odor or visible spoilage does not guarantee safety, as chemical changes and bacterial growth can occur without noticeable signs. To enjoy deli meats safely, consider these tips. Purchase fresh. Opt for freshly sliced meats from a reputable deli counter rather than pre-packaged varieties, which may have been stored for weeks before reaching your grocery cart. Ask about the slicing date to ensure freshness. Store properly. Keep deli meats in the coldest part of your refrigerator, avoid the door, where temperatures fluctuate, and store them in airtight containers or resealable bags to minimize air exposure. Consume quickly. Eat open deli meats within 3 to 5 days to reduce the risk of chemical changes or bacterial contamination. Label packages with the opening date to track freshness. Explore alternatives. Consider preparing your sliced meats by roasting or baking poultry, pork, or beef at home. Homemade versions avoid nitrates and nitrites entirely, offering a fresher, safer option. Check ingredients. When buying pre-packaged deli meats, look for brands labeled nitrate-free or no added nitrites, though be aware that some natural preservatives, like celery powder, still contain naturally occurring nitrates. By treating deli meats as a perishable treat rather than a long-term fridge staple, you can enjoy their convenience without compromising your health. If you're finding these tips helpful, please leave a comment with number 4 below to let me know you're engaged. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future insights to keep you informed and inspired. Number 5. Pickled foods with artificial colors. Pickled foods evoke nostalgia for many. Think of vibrant green dill pickles at a summer barbecue, tangy red pickled eggs at a family gathering, or colorful pepper relishes brightening a holiday table. These tangy, crunchy delights are often seen as safe due to their acidic, vinegar-based brine, which many assume preserves them indefinitely. However, store-bought pickled foods containing artificial colors and certain preservatives can pose unexpected health risks, especially when stored for extended periods after opening. For seniors, these risks are amplified due to age-related vulnerabilities. Artificial food dyes, such as yellow 5, tartrazine, red 40, or blue 1, are commonly used to give pickled foods their eye-catching hues. While these dyes are approved for use by regulatory bodies like the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, their stability can degrade in the acidic environment of pickling brine over time. This breakdown can produce chemical byproducts that studies, such as those published in Food and Chemical Toxicology, have linked to cellular damage and potential carcinogenic effects with long-term exposure. For older adults, whose bodies may have a reduced ability to detoxify harmful compounds, the cumulative impact of these byproducts can be a concern. Moreover, many store-bought pickled products contain preservatives like sodium benzoate, which can react with ascorbic acid, vitamin C, naturally present in foods like peppers or cucumbers to form benzene, a known carcinogen. This reaction is more likely to occur when pickled foods are stored for months in the refrigerator, as the acidic, moist environment facilitates ongoing chemical interactions. Because pickled foods often retain their taste and texture for long periods, it's easy to overlook these invisible changes, assuming the vinegar keeps them safe. However, while vinegar inhibits most bacterial growth, it does not prevent these chemical transformations. I remember chatting with Walter, an 81-year-old pickle enthusiast who adored his bright red pickled eggs, a staple in his refrigerator for up to 6 months at a time. He believed the vinegar brine acted as a foolproof preservative, keeping the eggs safe indefinitely. He was surprised to learn that, while vinegar slows microbial growth, it doesn't halt the chemical reactions that can produce harmful compounds in artificially colored or preserved foods. The longer these products sit, the greater the potential for risky byproducts to accumulate, undetectable by taste or smell. To enjoy pickled foods safely, consider these recommendations. Choose natural ingredients. Seek out brands that use natural colorings, such as turmeric for yellow hues, beet juice for reds, or paprika for vibrant oranges, instead of synthetic dyes. Always check labels for artificial colors, e.g., yellow 5, red 40, and preservatives like sodium benzoate. Consume promptly. Once opened, aim to finish pickled foods within 2 to 4 weeks to minimize the risk of chemical changes. Label jars with the opening date for reference. Store properly. Keep open jars in the coldest part of your refrigerator and ensure lids are tightly sealed to reduce exposure to air, which can accelerate chemical reactions. Make your own. Homemade pickling allows you to control ingredients, avoiding artificial dyes and preservatives altogether. Simple recipes using vinegar, water, salt, and natural spices can produce delicious results without the risks. Inspect regularly. If you notice changes in color, texture, or cloudiness in the brine, beyond what's expected for the product, discard the jar to err on the side of caution. By choosing high-quality pickled foods and consuming them thoughtfully, you can preserve the joy of these tangy treats while safeguarding your health. Prioritizing natural ingredients and mindful storage habits ensures that your love for pickles doesn't come with hidden risks. As we wrap up, take a moment to think about your refrigerator, not just as a place to keep food cold, but as a space that can either nourish or silently threaten your health. The choices you make about what to store and how long to keep it can have a profound impact on your well-being, especially as you age. Small steps, like checking labels or freezing leftovers promptly, can protect your body and your future. What have you learned today that surprised you or changed how you'll approach your fridge? Please share one thing you've learned and plan to put into practice in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Your thoughts inspire us to keep creating content like this. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.